Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to what is probably going to be our final, I hope so, video class. I think next week we'll be trying out some online classes using Zoom possibly. So I hope that when next week comes on Wednesday, I'll be able to see you, maybe not face to face, but face to screen to face. I look forward to it. I'm getting tired of looking at my own face, making a video by myself. So first off, I guess I should apologize a little bit. Although it looks like there's a whiteboard behind me, this is actually just a white wall. Today, everyone is busy making videos, and all of the whiteboards are currently being used. And I'm the poor guy who has to go without this time. So it's okay though. I think in our book, I don't really need to use the whiteboard. Last time and a few weeks ago, I only wrote a little bit on the whiteboard, so it'll be fine. We don't really need to use it for this class at all, right? So today, we're going to finish up the unit that we started last time we had class. In our books, I hope you got your book. If you don't have it, go grab it, get a pencil or pen, and come back quickly. So let's see, in our books, last time I remember we were studying about more narratives, more stories. A simple story-styled essay or paragraph. And we had read some kind of ancient Greek mythology. There was also, I remember there was a story from Japan about a girl who drew pictures of cats. And today we will just finish up this unit and wrap it up. So, let's jump in here. Last time your homework, I hope you finished it. It's very, very difficult homework on page 38 and 39 right there. Easy stuff. So today we start off on page number 40. So, looking at page 40, you probably will recognize this story immediately. For me, it's not one that I grew up with, of course. This is a Korean traditional story, not one that I may have learned when I was growing up in Canada. But without looking at the text at the bottom, they want us to have a look at the pictures and talk about what's going on. So, without cheating, I looked at the pictures and I kind of made some notes on what I saw happening in the pictures. Looking at picture one, I see a tiger and a bear are thinking about humans or people. That's what I see. Picture number two, I see the tiger and the bear are wishing or praying or begging, choose the word you want, to the heavens, maybe to the gods or to God, for something. Don't know what. And in the third picture, we can see that the heavens are answering, right? There's a speech bubble coming from above. They're answering. The answer is, for 100 days, eat some green plant, I don't know, and it looks like garlic. And the tiger and the bear are happy that they've gotten an answer from the heavens. So we go on to picture 4, where we can see the tiger. To me, it looks like the food that they ate tastes disgusting. I like garlic. I don't know what the point is, but I like garlic. Raw garlic, I guess, yeah, it's a little bit strong. However, in the final picture, picture number 5, we see that the tiger and the bear, I guess, they succeeded in eating the garlic and the plant for 100 days, and now they have been magically transformed into humans, a man and a woman. Why is the tiger a man? Why is the bear a woman? I don't know. Maybe there's some reason for that, but I'm not sure exactly why. So, if we just look at the pictures, that's probably what we see happening. However, if we move down the page to part B, where we were given an outline, here, of course, the whole story starts to become unraveled. So they've given us a title, My Mother Was a Bear. And of course, as always, we've got some blanks that we must fill in. The topic sentence is a blank, and the final detail is also still blank. So take a moment, I think it'll only take you 10 seconds, figure out which word to match, and then I'll read it. Alright, so of course, the topic sentence, the longest sentence naturally. The topic sentence is, a long time ago, my mother was a bear, but she became human with a lot of effort. Great. That's our first topic sentence. Details, there's the details matching with the pictures. I'll read them just because they're interesting. She and her tiger friend were unhappy. They wanted to become human. She prayed to the god Hanum, I'm going to say, I'm not sure, and asked for his help. He agreed to give them their wish. They had to live in a cave for 100 days and eat only garlic and mugwort. Mugwort is soup. Maybe I'm right with that. Soup is mugwort. And then finally, of course, the last sentence that they've given us, Hanum turned the bear into a human. He married her. Well, wait, what about the tiger? Did the tiger run away? Oh. The tiger ran away, didn't eat, only the bear did? Is that what happened? It's kind of not explained in the details either. But the last sentence mentions Hanum marrying the human. So I'm guessing the tiger in picture 4 ran away from the disgusting taste, I guess. It will be unraveled more in the following pages, I hope. Because if you look at page 41 here, they've taken the same information from our outline, and now they've beefed it up, made it into a long sample draft. So if you look at this page, they've given us our title. They've given us a bunch of sentences. However, there are 3, really 2, which they've left out, and we have to match back into the paragraph. So take a moment and match them. I'm imagining it'll only take 10 seconds once again. So take your 10 seconds and match these sentences. And write as well, please, of course. Okay, so I'll go ahead and give it a read, because we'll have to look at it some more in a moment. But let's go. So, a long time ago, my mother was a bear, but she became human with a lot of effort. Same topic sentence from the outline. She and her tiger friend were unhappy. They wanted to become human. So they prayed to the god Hanum and asked for his help. He agreed to give them their wish, but there were some things they had to do first. Before they could become human, they had to live in a cave for 100 days. Also, they could only eat garlic and mugwort. Sentence. My mother did not like the life of a bear. Finally, Hanum turned the bear into a human. Then he married her. My mom is very happy now that she is a human, but she says that sometimes she wants to scratch her back on a tree and eat berries. Well, I think she can still eat berries. We got strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, mountain berries, so many kinds of berries. You know, when I was reading this, I kind of expected there to be some mention of the tiger. Where's the tiger? What happened to the tiger? It's not even explained in this paragraph. Okay, who knows? Is Hanum the tiger? I'm kind of lost as to what happened. They could have done a better explanation with another sentence maybe. Oh well. So that's easy, right? Filling in these sentences is easy peasy. But the next part is, if you're looking at number 2 at the bottom, it says to circle all the linking words in the paragraph. Now, of course, you can see they circled one of the words there, the word also has been circled for us already. And if you've forgotten what a linking word is, a linking word is generally a word that is kind of between sentences, starting the second sentence, that is linking that sentence back to the previous sentence. Like the word also is saying and, but related to the previous sentence, right? So when looking at this paragraph, there are several more linking words that we could choose. Now, I imagine that a lot of you are looking now and you're starting to find other words and you're circling, and that's great. Go ahead and have a look. Find as many as you can. So, some of you may have chosen the very first phrase a long time ago, which is not terrible. I actually circled it my first time when I was doing this myself. But if you think about it, it's not really linking to anything. It's the very start. There's no linking or joining to a previous idea or sentence. So it's not really a linking word. It's definitely a time phrase, a phrase of showing time, but it's not really a linking word. So if you circled it, I totally understand. And I wouldn't, whack, I wouldn't hit you over the hand for making this mistake, because I made the same mistake my first time. But if you're moving down, if you keep going down the paragraph, you'll see the next word right above the word also. We have before. So this is another time word linking to the previous sentence. And then if you keep moving down, keep going, you will see the word finally in the third line from the bottom. And in that same line, you'll see the word then after that. And in part B that we added back to the paragraph, there's the phrase. I'm sorry, there's nothing. I'm lying. I'm sorry. I'm the answer short. Nothing. Sorry. So you got the before, also, finally, and then. These time words, right? Showing changes in time. These are the linking words that you should have circled. And if you circled a long time ago, it's fine. No one's going to get angry. Great job. Okay, so there we go. There's our first 2 pages done. Let's go on to the next page. So, page 42. If you're looking at this page, these pictures should look very familiar to what we read and talked about last week. It's the same story. And if you don't remember, it's a very famous story from Greek or Roman mythology, but I'm sure probably most of you know this story. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to look at the pictures first, kind of get an idea for what's happening. I see some women singing, I see a ship, I see, okay, what's going on? Try not to look back. Don't just don't just go back to the previous pages. I see you, I know what you're doing. Try to just look at the page that we're given. If you don't remember the names of any of these people, I know that the main character, the man who's wearing the white outfit, what am I going to call it? Robes? Skirt? Is he wearing a skirt? Very brave fashion choice. His name is Ulysses. And the people with Ulysses are his crew, the sailors who are with him. And the women who are on the shore or the beach who are singing a song, they are called the sirens. Siren, same as like when you think like the word siren coming from like an ambulance siren or an air raid siren. That word comes from this siren, these characters. Because they sing this song, right? This melody, kind of the same thing. Anyway, word origin for you. So, looking at these pictures, the title, what do we want to call it? I think actually, I can actually remember what it is. I think it's called Ulysses and the Sirens. You could change the title if you wish, of course. Ulysses' Big Test. Ulysses almost fails. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, you're free to. But looking at the pictures and thinking of what our topic sentence should be. Now remember, you don't want to just look at the first picture and make that your first sentence. Don't do that. You want your first sentence to be a topic sentence that kind of is something about all of these sentences together. So we know it's about Ulysses and the Sirens. So if we're making a topic sentence, maybe we want to kind of try to incorporate that in there, especially Ulysses, since he's the main character. So if I were going to make my own topic sentence, perhaps I would choose something like, Ulysses had one final test on his way back home, right? Something like that. So that's kind of giving you a summary of what this is about. This is a test, not a handwritten test, but more a life test, I suppose. That's my first sentence. So after that, you know, I want to start to look at the pictures, and using those pictures, I want to make a sentence that corresponds to them. So picture number one, you know, on his way home, some sirens on the shore began singing a magical song. Right? Looking at picture two, Ulysses' crew, or friends, tied him to the mast. Mast is what we call that big pole in the middle of the ship where the sails hang from. It's called a mast. Tied him to the mast so that he would not be tempted by the song. Picture three, the crew then covered their ears with, I don't remember what they used, with cotton or with some kind of material, it looks like. Four, Ulysses is affected by the siren's song and starts to go crazy, yelling to the men to bring him to the shore. Picture five, even though it looks like maybe he's gone to the shore where the sirens are, I'm going to believe that his crew did not listen to him, and they took him away, and they finally arrived safely back home, assuming this is their home beach or shoreline. So, you know, even in this story now, while I'm going through these sentences, something I think about, why didn't Ulysses just put the things over his ears? Why did he have to have his ears uncovered? He could have just done the same thing as his crew members and avoided the siren's song. I guess I should go back and read, right? Anyway, that is maybe what I would write if I were making a rough draft using these pictures for this story. That's the story that I would use. And of course, if you noticed, did I use past tense? I hope I did. Because when you're writing a story like this, a narrative story, this is not a personal narrative. This is not a story about myself. This is what we call a third person narrative. He, she, it, they, third person pronouns are being used. No I, no you, no we, but third person. And generally it's in past tense, especially if it's something that happened a long time ago. Even if it's something that's kind of not true, it's still kind of a fictional story from the past. You would generally want to use past tense. So, speaking of past tense, if you go into the next page, they bring up another grammar practice focusing on past tense, of course. So I don't think this is going to be anything really difficult for you, but go ahead, give yourself a brief moment and try to fill in the blanks for part A with the answers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, everyone. I'm sure it'll take you 30 seconds. So strange waiting for you guys. Waiting in silence. Sorry. Alright, so hopefully you've had enough time to write down the answers. If not, just pause the video and you can continue when you're ready. So, first sentence. They gave it to us. I'll go ahead and read it just because. We have John took a trip around Europe last year. Oh, John, good timing. Before the coronavirus. Well done. Number 2, we got she, the verb come, past tense, came with me, and we both enjoyed the party. Oh, no parties, please. This is social distancing time. You're not supposed to be near other people, right? That job, whoever she is. Number 3, my mom, changing tell to told me to do my homework, but I didn't do it. Oh, this is a very common sentence. Number 4, Tom, see, changing of course, to saw a strange man on the street this afternoon. And finally, question number 5, Sue, verb buy, changing to bought, B-O-U-G-H-T, a concert ticket yesterday. False. There's no concerts happening. Sue, you lied. So those are the answers. Easy stuff for most of you guys. I'm sure you did an excellent job. So after that, we move on to our next section, section B. So here, I was going to write this on the whiteboard. I was going to go up and have my list and do some fun lines and stuff. Sadly, I just have a white wall, not a whiteboard. I don't want to write on the wall and get myself in trouble. So what we need to do here, I can't really share by writing, so I'll just have to share by speaking. But you can see they've given us a subject here, this side for you guys. Subject and verb box. So they just want us to write down some subjects and to write down some verbs or verb phrases, or subject predicate is another grammar term they use. Predicate for this. So subject, predicate, or verb phrase, whatever you wish to call it, verb clause. They did Kevin is given there for subject. They have had a strange dream last night. So I think maybe they're matching those. I'm just going to keep those matched. Kevin had a strange dream last night. We'll match those together. So go ahead, take a moment, write down 4 other subjects of your choosing. Subject, of course, meaning jewel, not necessarily class subject, but jewel, subject, and verb phrases, predicates to go along with it. Go ahead, everybody, give you a moment to do this. Okay, everybody, let's go ahead and go through some answers. So obviously you can't give me your answers, so I'll just give you my answers. I wish I could hear your answers, but so we had the Kevin one, and then my next answer was I stayed home and played games. I stayed home and played games. Maybe many of you have experienced this very same sentence for the past several weeks. Next one, I wrote down my subject, I put schools, and my verb phrase was closed because of the virus. Of course, also very relative. Still gonna close, but we get some online classes coming soon, I guess. Next, I put subject, my mother. My verb phrase, I put was angry with me. Maybe, I imagine these days, you guys are at home so much. Maybe your mother is home with you, and there's maybe lots of, we say friction building between you guys. Friction is that when you rub, the rubbing creates the force of friction. And in English, we say there's friction between people when they start to fight or have arguments. So I imagine maybe some strained relationships caused by friction from everyone being so close to each other in the home for so long. I hope not, but probably there is, right? Everybody's experiencing the same thing. And my final subject is dinner, and my verb phrase is tasted delicious. I'm a little bit hungry, so I ended with something to make me even more hungry, I suppose. So there we go, that's my subject and verb. I hope you also were able to get some good answers there. You better be doing it. But let's move on. That's the end of page 43. So if we move on to the next page, oh, we got so many words on these pages. Right, so at the top of this page, we've got the story for the pictures which appeared way back on page 37. The story titled, A Girl Who Drew Pictures of Cats. So, I guess I'll read it for you guys. You can follow along or just listen to my beautiful voice, whichever you prefer. Probably follow along. I'll read it for you right now. Here we go. A girl who always drew pictures of cats had a scary experience. Her parents were upset because of her pictures and decided to send her to a temple. What kind of parenting is that? I don't quite understand. Get out of my house, go live at the temple. Anyway. On the way to the temple, she met a woman who told her not to stay in open places. When she got to the temple, she drew more pictures of cats. Finally, she remembered the words of the woman she found. Oh, word of the woman, comma, pause. So she found a box to sleep in. She wrote a letter to her parents. The next morning, she woke up and found her pictures covering a giant dead rat on the floor. Later, the cats in her pictures had killed the giant rat while she slept. So there we go. There is the story to go along with the pictures we saw last week. And what they want us to do with this paragraph is have a look and analyze the sentences, right? They tell us that there should be one sentence removed, crossed out, taken away, deleted, erased, and 2 linking words. So these linking words, if you remember when we looked at them 3 pages ago, page 41, these were all kind of time-ordered linking words. First, next, after, before, while, these kind of sentences. Showing the relationship of time, linking time, joining time. So, in this paragraph, if you take a look and try to find, let's go with the crossed out sentence first. There's one sentence that really doesn't belong here. It's not helping the idea of the story. Can you find it? Do you see it? It's a short sentence, it's not very long. I think I heard it. The answer right? Yeah, she wrote a letter to her parents. Yeah, this sentence is not really important, not really needed. I don't even think it's in the original story, so it's just kind of added there. Not needed, not necessary. It is a possible sentence. It's not that it doesn't really relate to the story, but it doesn't push the narrative ahead. You know, her writing a letter to her parents didn't really affect anything in the story. There was really no reason for it to happen. It's just added in there for no good reason. So we can cross it out, remove it, delete it, erase it. Next, they want us to find the 2 linking words. Now, one linking word they generously crossed out for us, the word finally. Crossed out, of course, because it was not the final part of the story. So you want to use finally at the end, or, you know, at the last bit of action that's happening in the story. However, it's not the right place. So there's one more word that needs to be crossed out, one more linking word, showing a time link or time relationship. Which word should it be? That's right, I think you see it. Oh, maybe you're still reading. It's not near the top, it's kind of near the bottom of the paragraph. Yes, of course, later, right? Later should be crossed out because later is not really making sense being used in the sentence. So, we take it away. We get rid of it. So there, that's the answer there. Good job, everybody. Moving down to the bottom of page 44, we've got our next part here, where we're basically focusing once again on our grammar. They want us to find the correct form of the verb to fill in the blank with. And because this is a narrative kind of text, we, of course, are going to probably want to use simple past tense for this. So what I will do is I will graciously read the text once again with my voice, and I will fill in the blanks as I go. I would have put it on the whiteboard, but scratch that idea off. So here we go. A shoemaker and his wife were very poor. One morning there, I'm going to pause a minute. There we look, it's beaver, we got a pair of beautiful shoes. So just be a little careful. It's a pair of beautiful shoes. Don't be tricked by beautiful shoes. The true word you're looking at here, the true subject is a pair. And a pair is one pair, and one is singular. So there was a pair of beautiful shoes on the table. The shoemaker sold the shoes and became rich. So he wanted to find out who they put made. I would probably put had made, past perfect, but let's just say who made the shoes. One night he hid behind a curtain and saw two little elves making shoes. They did not have any clothes on. So they can make shoes, but they don't have any clothes? What kind of story is this? Who wrote this story? I apologize, everybody, if your pure minds are corrupted. Sorry. So the shoemaker made clothes for the two elves. Then everyone was happy. Yes, clothes, that's the real solution to happiness. You want to be happy? Just get some clothes. There we go. Problem solved. Okay, so I assume that was pretty easy for most of you. Let's move on then to the next page, page 45. Here we go, out of the last page. But once again, it's a big paragraph. And it's this story of Ulysses and the Sirens. So if you're looking at it, they kind of broken it up. We got the blue text at the top. We got the purple violet text in the middle, and the green at the bottom, kind of showing some kind of like introduction, or beginning, middle, and ending of the story. We have three different sentences that we need to match back into the text. And where they have the thick green underlines, we have to put a good linking word in those spots. Of course, they generously give us a bunch of linking words right there to use, so that should be easy. So guys, take one moment here, take a minute and try to pick the right sentences to put in the blanks, and we'll check very soon. Go ahead. Okay, and if you need more time, of course, pause the video. So, I'm just going to read through it, and I'm going to fill in the blanks as I move through the text, alright? So, title again, Ulysses and the Sirens. So, first sentence, topic sentence. Ulysses was sailing home after a long journey. A little similar to my sentence, actually, that I chose before. His ship was passing by the island of the Sirens. No one could resist the Sirens' beautiful song. Many ships were driven onto the rocks and destroyed. Ulysses' ship would be lost too, once he heard the Sirens' song. But Circe saved him and his men. Circe told Ulysses her idea to help them escape the Sirens' danger. First, she told Ulysses that he had to be tied up. Then, although he could hear the Sirens' beautiful song, he could not control the ship. Next, that's our linking word, she told Ulysses' men to put wax in their ears, dirty. That way, they could not hear the Sirens singing. Linking word. Lastly, she told the men not to follow Ulysses' orders. He would tell them to go toward the music, and the ship would be destroyed. Again, why couldn't they just put the wax in Ulysses' ears? I don't. In the real story, in the full story, is it explained? I don't remember. And then finally here, the last blank we're filling in, of course, the only one left is A. Ulysses heard the music as they passed the island, but his men did not follow his orders to sail toward it. So finally, Ulysses returned safely to his home. There we go. There are the correct sentences for the blanks of the story, Ulysses and the Sirens. Great job, everybody. I hope you were able to get it correct as well. So, we moved through it. We did it. We got through it. Now let's talk about your homework. So, don't worry about this page just yet. Worry about this page right here. So if you're looking at it, just to go through, there are many types of narratives. Right? They can be imaginary, factual, or both. So imaginary, true, factual, or both. I'm not sure how you can have both. Maybe mixed it together. They may include fairy tales. So fairy tale like Cinderella, Snow White, these Disney kind of stories. Science fiction like fantasy or something from the future. Myths, that's our Greek, Roman, or Korean myth. Legend, similar to myth. And history. So you will need to write one of these kinds of stories for your homework. You can choose any one you want. You want a myth, you want to do a legend, you want to do a historical story. You choose, it's totally up to you. But one thing right here, if you're looking under that, these kinds of narratives are written using the third person. So I talked about this very briefly, but third person, right? He, she, it, or they. No I, no you. Not a story about you, okay? A story about someone or some other people, right? No I's. In addition, remember the verb tense, of course. You want to use past tense, right? Keep it in past tense. Do not use present tense. So, topics, they have at the bottom. I'll be very generous. You can do any topic you want. Don't do the ones that were already chosen. Don't do Ulysses, of course. Don't do the girl who drew pictures of the cat. Don't do the Hwanung bear tiger thing. I want to read the same story. I like something different. But any story you want. No Hercules. Any story you want from fairy tales, science fiction, myth, legend. You can make it up. Imaginary is great. If you can't think of anything like, I've been so imaginative these past 4 weeks, all I do every day is imagine I'm doing something different and not staying home, my imagination is used up, then that's okay, because right here they have some possible topics. If you'd like to choose, you may. They got the day my mother lost her wallet. Almost seems like a personal story, but remember, you're not talking about I, we're talking about she, my mother, she, right? Third person. Or the story of Robin Hood, if you can remember any of the details of the story of Robin Hood. Next, the man who sang to ghosts. I don't know if it's a real story or if you're making it up, but a man who sang to ghosts. Or finally, the legend of Buddha. So I know that there are actual legends of Buddha. You could be creative and make your own legend about Buddha if you would prefer. It's totally up to you. But those are just some possibilities. Now, going back to this page, page 456. Same thing as I mentioned the last time. You got the title, topic sentence, and you must write more than half. Something more than half. It doesn't have to be all the way to the bottom, that's a lot. It can be here, just a little bit more than that. And this doesn't mean write, very big, first grade, elementary school, writing English with super big letters everywhere. Look, I got 2 letters on 1 line. I filled out half the page. No, that's not what I mean. You know. Yes. Write respectfully, adequately, enough. But I'm sure you will. So that's it for homework. I hope you have had a good time getting through class. And next week, I should be able to actually see your faces when we do some video conferencing. I hope you are staying safe, having a great day, having a great week, everyone. I look forward to seeing you next week. Stay healthy.